What's going on, guys? Coach Madden, YouGoProBaseball.com. I'm here with Doug Bernier from Pro Baseball Insider, former major leaguer, and he's going to talk about today a couple of his favorite hitting drills. Hitting drills you used to do to work on your swing. To be a big league hitter. Did you do these drills in the big leagues?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What do you got?
Okay. Well, I actually have 3 for you today. The first one is I like to start my day just getting loose and getting my hands going, getting my hands active. I talked about this before. I had a problem when I kind of started to compete, when I got in the box, and when I tried to grind a little bit more at the plate, I got really stiff. So I'd get in the box and I'd really just hold onto that bat tight from my upper body, in my upper half. I would get really tense and really tight, grip my teeth. As a hitter, you can't be like that. The best hitters look relaxed. They kind of have a whip-like effect with their bat. They're not super, super tense. And so this drill helped me just to kind of get the feeling of what it was like to get the bat through the zone. So I would start off with a tee. You can do it with a tee or flip. I did it both ways. And I would just kind of sit back here, step through, and swing. And what I was trying to feel, I was only trying to do it about 50%, and I just wanted to feel my hands work, like feel that whip-like effect. And using the walkthrough drill was where I started, and that was a good way just to kind of start my day hitting-wise.
I got a question for you on that one. When you demonstrated, you were if the tee's over here, you're walking through this way. Are you really worried about your hips at all, or are you just kind of coming straight and doing more hands?
This is more of a hands thing. I feel like it's just going to kind of happen naturally. I'm not too focused on, getting perfect mechanics or anything like that. I'm kind of just trying to wake my hands up and just not not be super tense. Like, I'm just trying to relax the hands and just kind of let them happen. And that's all I'm trying to do. So the mechanics might not be perfect, all of that. It's just more of kind of waking my hands up and feeling those hands just relax and kind of whip through the ball.
And are you doing a big step as you're coming up, or it's just nice and small? How's that work?
That's kind of medium. I mean, I'm facing, like if the tee's right here, I'm just kind of facing the tee, I guess, a little bit, and then I just take a step with my right foot and then just go into it and then hit. And it's the same thing if a coach is flipping it to me front toss. I kind of take that step, and then as soon as I'm taking that step, he's going to flip me the ball. So I'm going to just stand here, I'm going to flip, he's going to flip the ball, and then I just hit. And that's
having the approach up the middle?
Up the middle, yeah. Just keep everything up the middle.
What do you got for number 2?
Number 2, low tee. I was taught coming up, use my hands, swing down at the ball. You've kind of heard that. There's probably, there's a lot of guys that talk about that they had probably similar problems, as I did. I mean, that's how I was taught, and when I first got into pro ball, the video access wasn't as good as it is now, so I just kind of took that advice and ran with it. But I did have a top-down swing. I did have a push swing, and that was really hard for me to overcome after a while. I mean, I had that swing for, 20 years, so trying to, work through those problems and make an adjustment to my swing was difficult. The low tee was something that, it was a drill that helped me. When the tee was set up low, let's say the ball was like this high, if I didn't have good mechanics and I just came down to the ball, I was hitting a lot of ground balls in the cage. I was topping a lot. I wasn't able to really hit the ball for much power. So the goal of this drill was with the ball being set up low, I had to use my legs to get down and use my back knee in particular, force that into the ground, so now my bat path is on the same trajectory as the ball as it would be in the game, and now I'm working through the baseball trying to hit a good elevated line drive to the back of the cage. So that was a really good drill for me. It forced me to use my legs and my swing to get underneath the ball and drive the ball with authority.
How often were you doing that one, and how many reps would you do that one?
I would probably do about 15 swings of that. So I'm not killing myself, I'm not overdoing it, but I'm probably taking somewhere between 10 and 15 swings. I want to try to hit as many balls hard as I can up the middle, and if I could just do that over and over again, I felt like I was in a good place.
You doing that every day?
Every day. every day. I'm doing those first two every single day.
What about third one?
Third one, okay, like I said, I was taught use my hands, be a hands hitter. Well, so we all know about how the swing works and everything, how kind of the hips and the lower half lead the swing, right? Well, I had everything going at one time, and that was a hard thing for me to break. So a drill that I like to do to help kind of develop that feel of trying to separate the lower half from the upper half of my swing was just the fully open drill. So I would have a tee here, or I would do it off the tee or off soft toss. And I would face, let's say you at home, you're on the camera, you're flipping me the ball. I am completely facing you, and I have my bat just resting on my shoulder. From here, I'm gonna kind of bend into my legs and turn. And then from here, I'm already in a position where my upper body is torqued differently than my lower half. So I'm here, and then I'm swinging and working through this way. That really helped. I could feel the tension in my front side, and it was more of it was kind of like turning that rubber band a little bit, where I could feel that upper body really work through the ball. And that was a good way for me to feel the difference between my upper half and lower half in my swing.
Separation is huge. I know, at least from in the pitching perspective, I was a pitcher, that was something that, I had to focus on for velocity and also just using my body well, like using the creating energy and transferring it through the kinetic chain.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you were trying to use that, as far as like you talked about earlier in the second drill, like being into the ground, being into your legs? How are you trying to create energy? Were you more thinking about your legs or your hands in the swing? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I felt like that when my lower half was strong, I would focus on my legs, but when my lower half was strong, I felt like I became a better hitter. And yeah, I want to have the proper, kinetic chain, and I want to work in the right sequence. But for me, it wasn't about power. It wasn't about trying to hit the ball further or look really good in batting practice. But when I had proper sequencing and I was well balanced, I was able to be more adjustable in my swing. So I felt like I could handle more, like a wider range of velocities, and I was able to handle more pitches within the strike zone. So that allowed me to be able to handle more pitches better. And so that's why I wanted to be, I really focused on my lower half.
That's a great point. Knowing what type of hitter you are to work on. Same thing with hitting drills. You got to know why you're doing them, right? Not every hitting drill is for every single player, right?
Exactly. Like, just because, like Mike Trout does a high T drill or something, that doesn't mean that you should do a high T drill and that will turn you into Mike Trout. It's every player needs to know their deficiency or what they struggle with, and then use an appropriate drill that will help you in that area. So yeah, knowing that is so important. Knowing what kind of hitter you are is so important. I know everyone wants to hit for more power, and that's awesome, and it's fun to be able to crank balls out in batting practice, but that doesn't always transfer into the games. And it might, while you're facing guys that aren't throwing very hard, but as you work your way up and you start to face, better pitching, that long swing doesn't always play. And so if you're a small guy like me, yeah, you might run into some homers, but don't sacrifice 40 or 50 points on your batting average so you can go from 6 to 9 homers. Like, that doesn't make a big deal at all. So know who you are as a hitter and try to be the best version of that you can be.
That's a great point. Last question before we end this video. You talked about being strong in your legs. Talk about the amount of work that you had to put in the gym and in your swings, practice-wise. Were you working on this stuff, once or twice a week, maybe 15 minutes a day? How much work were you putting in the gym and on your swing to make it to where you made it?
Okay, well, in the gym, I was in the gym. I would do 4 days a week in the gym. So I would go Monday I did lower body, Tuesday upper body, Wednesday lower body, Thursday lower body, Friday upper body. Wednesday would be just a light cardio day, active recovery day, and then I would do something light on Saturday. Sunday I would take completely off. So I was in the weight room, like, trying to get strong, trying to get a foundation. I did that all throughout the off season, and then I made a decision. I feel like during the season you have to either make a decision to lift or not to lift, because the worst thing you can do is take 3 months off and then decide in the middle of the season, hey, I'm going to start lifting again, and then you're sore for the next week. Like,
right.
So, you know, so you got to make a decision on that. But yeah, I was always in the weight room because I felt like it made me stronger. And anytime I could feel a little bit stronger in the box with my bat, I think it gave me a little mental advantage. So that was big.
Guys, I hope you guys liked it. You can check out Doug on Pro Baseball Insider, great YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. He's also got an awesome newsletter. I'll leave the link down below where you can join up to that. Leave a question down below if you got any questions about hitting, fielding, anything baseball related. We'd be happy to help answer them. And thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
No
and
problem.
We'll see you guys in the next video.